Raider Nation was good. It's your boy Phil Robinson III and Phil Jones, the host of the Unfiltered Truth. I jumped the gun and got him a little early. We're moving fast today. Phil, what's happening? How are you today?
Phil, I'm feeling excellent. It's another great day. It's Friday. But man, you know what's even better? Training camp's around the corner, my friend. You know how happy I've been waiting for this?
Long time.
You sure a long time? You know?
Long time.
Long
I've been
time.
waiting since February 3rd, to be exact.
Yeah, we've been waiting a long time for training camp to get started. Look, all seasons coming to that dry end, that little dry spell that we dealt with is finally coming to end. So right now, that's what we get to look forward to. We have two of our rookies finally signed. Divine Diablo has been signed today. We have Malcolm Kuntz that has been signed today. When I tell you, I repeat, when I tell you how happy I am that we have gotten this done, this means so much for this team to have these two key players. I mean, they might not start right away, but they're going to be in that rotation this year to where we see them a good handful of times. Phil, I know you're excited about Diablo.
I'm excited about Diablo. I'm excited. I've been looking forward to Kuntz is what I really want to see. And the clips that you see of Kuntz, he's got a good speed to power transition. He's a practitioner of the long arm technique, which is one I happen to be personally fond of. And I see in him, I see what we need most out of this defense, and that's speed coming off the edge. A guy who doesn't look like, when he's coming off the edge, doesn't look like he's going to have to fight through everybody, fight through three guys to get to the quarterback. He's more of a guy who can use his speed to get around guys to get there and get there at a much more quicker pace. And is also equipped with a full slate of moves and pass rushing techniques in order to vary his approach and get into the quarterback and not allowing linemen to key on just one thing. See, a lot of the prospects that we've had in draftees that we've had have either been speed guys or power guys, and the speed guys have been a one-trick pony armed with only a spin move. But whenever they allow the offensive lineman to get hands on them, they suddenly become immobile. And your power guys just haven't proven to be strong enough at this level yet. And once they get engaged, they're just kind of engulfed, and they just don't get off blocks. I think that Malcolm Kuntz, based off of what I've seen, based off the track record of Buffalo, the University of Buffalo program, especially in terms of linebacking, defensive end, edge type players, that they have a pretty good pedigree. And it's not just a pedigree. The coach is actually teaching them fundamentals, and you can see it player after starter after starter after starter. You see it in your 4-year starters, not so much as your guys that have played and got a season or two, but your 4-year core project players are the guys that you see with a complete skill set.
Well, look, I'm happy. Look, we got it set up. We got them here. Divine Diablo is one guy that's going to be into those sub packages to start it out. I know Gus Bradley's been waiting to lick his chops to finally get a good chance to see him on that field. I know he was dealing with an injury. Now we finally get him back. Phil, the one thing I'm looking forward to is this. We got some camp battles going down. I know we discussed it early on during that little dry sprout during the all season, but this secondary, we got one position in that secondary that's going to be hella interesting. But before we get into all of that, remember, ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to the Unfiltered Truth on our YouTube page. We're trying to build that up a little bit more, trying to get more subscribers. So, once the show does end tonight, go on and subscribe to it. And remember, you guys can catch us on Spotify. You guys can catch us on iHeartRadio and iTunes as well. So the NFL yesterday have dropped one of the major memos for all 32 teams. If you are not vaccinated, and this is a little crazy and a little ugly, but I mean, hey, this is their business, this is their show. You got to follow the rules. They're basically wanting everybody to get vaccinated. They don't want any outbreaks. You don't want to deal with any of the teams losing money. You don't want to deal with any of the games getting postponed and rescheduled on the back end like we dealt with last year. If they deal with that this year, your team's going to forfeit. And you're going to lose money. And what I mean by losing money, the players will lose money. They will not get paid for that game.
And so that brings up an interesting position and an interesting fight, because you saw earlier today, Coach Dennison from the Vikings, the offensive line coach and the running game coordinator, was fired today from refusing to.
So hold on, there was an update with that.
They're still in communication.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So he was fired earlier, but a later report reported that they were in communications as to what was going to happen. Now, the interesting thing about that is that it occurred in Minnesota, of all places, because Minnesota is usually where the players union goes to dispute NFL policy. And so
I think was it the Patriots line coach was the same way, yeah.
Antitrust lawsuits always occur in Minneapolis, Minnesota. But so that was going to bring up an interesting question of, could they do this? Could teams cut players, fire them for refusing to get the vaccine in light of what is at stake? It is a real difficult slope. You can't force anybody to get the shot, but at that same token, with as much as they have at stake, who knows? That's going to be, somebody's going to try this as a deal breaker, and it's going to have to be litigated in court to see if they can get away with it or not.
Well, I'm gonna throw this at you. It won't, because you're starting to see more businesses around the area. I'll say definitely in this area, they're starting to go by that rule of, this is my company. I'm allowed to say what goes and doesn't go. Because this is something that this virus was something that could damage your economy and basically hurt your business, because that one person did not get vaccinated and exposed everybody. Now, granted, you got some folks that, vaccinated people can get that, but I mean, here's the thing: you're only going to get sick. You're not going to be hospitalized. One's going to outweigh the other in this situation, and this is a real hard situation. But the thing of it is, this is what happens when you get those big businesses. They're just going to be like, hey, it's either my rule or the highway. I mean, you can do what we're asking you to do. At first, we were asking players to, because they were doing this, and players could have got paid a little extra apparently. But that's not the case anymore. Now, is that still into effect? I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, they want teams to be 100% vaccinated. And the other thing with coordinators, like assistant coaches, they wanted them so you could be within that tier 1 column, so you can be able to have your coaches meetings with the players, or have your film sessions. if you're a coach and you're not vaccinated at that time frame, they were saying, no, you got to do it from the Zoom call. And like a coach like John Gruden, he wants everybody, all hands on deck. He doesn't want to do what he dealt with last year. And everybody in Raider Nation remembers, a lot of the players were being exposed to COVID because some were getting sloppy, not following the rules, or, not wearing your mask. And it showed you got exposed. So if your employer is asking you to do something so you can maintain your job, you usually do it. Am I right?
Within reason, and this would be one of those things that you would think would have to be within reason.
So
players are getting paid millions of dollars to go out and perform, and COVID just wreaked absolute havoc on the season last year. The whole fiasco that the Ravens and the Steelers had with everybody not being able to field a team. But the NFL is a big business with plenty of sponsorship and advertising dollars at stake. That is, missing out on that type of money is something that they just can't afford to go through another year. Now they make billions of dollars, but if they don't have a product on the field, they don't make anything. Not only do they not make anything, they all go in the hole because they still have to pay for the stadium, for the price of the stadium, for the price of all of the local TV revenue and all of that other stuff.
And I'm going to add this real quick. Sorry to cut you off. I know a lot of folks really don't want to hear it. We've been getting just slapped in the face with it every single day. But the reason why we're saying this, because if this happens, here's one thing. All my PSL owners, all my fans that have gotten tickets, all that money you didn't put into for them high-priced tickets,
just gave it all away.
You're going to have to try to get your money back.
Or wait till next year.
Yep. So all that money you put in for this year, once again, gets put back on the back burner again. A lot of folks saying, well, I done bought this hotel in Vegas for this, and this. And you know how some hotels in Vegas do not do refunds.
No.
So, this is where I'm getting at. This is how serious this is. All right. So let's all get with the program. I mean, some may not like it. If you don't want to get vaccinated, just make sure you wear your mask. I just want everybody to be safe. That's all it is. I want everybody to be safe. I understand everybody has their opinion to it. Just be safe, okay? That's it.
We all want to play football. We all want to see football. We all want football to be played. And the guys who are bringing up the points about not wanting to get vaccinated, they do have valid points. Nobody should be able to tell them what they inject into their bodies. However, it can't be undersold that these same players will put any amount of pain-killing injection medication with or without having done their full research about it in order to continue to play. So the fact that they refuse to get a vaccine and would still do that to play is kind of perplexing to me, but it's their choice nonetheless. Contemplating retirement instead of getting the vaccine, to each their own. I'll believe it when it actually happens, but that's a lot of money to walk away from just because of the vaccine. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and you got some battles going on between teammates going on right now. Jerry Hughes, Cole Beasley. I know Marcus Cromartie has some things on it. Charles Woodson has dropped his input on it. So, I mean, this is a real talking point. And I'm going to say this. Some of your older players, they making more sense than some of the younger players on this. But, I'm not going to try to spend too much time on it because there are a lot of things we got to dig into right now with this team. And I will give you guys some good news on it. The Raiders being vaccinated wise, we're not here. We're right here.
Over 90% vaccinated.
We're about in that 85, 90% range. So Raiders are in good hands, like all state. But other than that, Phil,
we buried something, and let me just stop and let's take a minute. And for those of you who do remember, offensive coordinator Greg Knapp, he was killed, not murdered. He was killed in a biking accident. They took him to the hospital where he was there for a couple days until
he was on life-threatening injuries.
Yeah, until he passed away yesterday. So I wanted to take just a moment and get a moment of silence for Greg Knapp. Once a Raider, always a Raider. All right, Jones, as you were.
All right. So, that all being said, Phil, where do I begin? Do I begin with this secondary of camp battles? Do I begin with it looks like we're locked in with 2 spots, but that slot position looks to be a question mark. We have an ongoing battle. And from the looks of it, you got guys like Damon Arnett, Nevin Lawson. I know they signed Bleedy Ray Wilson. Damn.
You'll have a
the list goes on. And then you got a Mick Robinson. Yeah. So the thing of it is, it's going to be an ongoing battle, I think, until the very last
Nate Hobbs
game.
Nate Hobbs, their draft pick.
Yes, Nate Hobbs as well. But here's the thing, and this is where it might play an advantage for a few of these guys. Nevin Lawson suspended for the first 2 games of the season. So he's going to lose an advantage. You look at the Raiders having Damon Arnett as the first-round pick from last year. He looks like he's in a little bit of a doghouse right now.
No, he all the way in there. Go on and tell the truth.
He on the shit end of the stick. All right, you want me to say it like that? He's on the shit end
all
of the stick.
The way deep.
He's the skid mark you wipe out your ass right now.
Just that deep.
That just knee deep. Way up there, Morty.
Yep.
Way up there. So my thing is this. For Damon Arnett, I think the best thing for him is this. He needs to stay focused mentally and physically. He needs to be up in that weight room. Because when you're in the weight room, you're going to end up showing. You show a lot. You tend to show what you do in that practice field.
And not only does he need to be in the weight room, he needs to be in the film study.
Absolutely.
Long and lengthy stays in the film study room. His ability to diagnose routes and zone coverage is going to be what saves him and gives him an opportunity to play on this defense. This defense, whether it be the cover 2 that Bradley ran in Tampa or the cover 3 that he ran in Seattle, or a variation thereof, his defense is predominantly zone coverage, and that is where Arnett is going to have to prove that he can excel in order to get a starting spot for this football team. Because if he's not, he's looking at an uphill battle behind Casey Hayward, who's been a multiple time Pro Bowler, behind underneath Arnett, not Arnett, but Miles and Bradley. And you're looking at Trayvon Mullen, who is probably the best corner on the roster, right? Or was the best corner on the roster last season.
Well, second best corner right behind Casey Hayward.
Yeah, he is now.
Other thing about it is this. I mean, don't get me wrong. Arnett showed some flashes that he can get the job done. But this is one thing I do say. I don't want to try to make it seem like an excuse. When you don't have a preseason for young players, you see what happens.
You don't have a training camp where you actually get to put body on body and practice and get acclimated to the speed of the game, working in full teams.
Not even that. Not even being able to get in the weight room. I think they had the most you could have in that weight room was up to 10 players. 10 players. So if you missed your session, you missed your session. And I feel that guys in Zoom meetings, because I mean, let's be real. I look at some of the kids that are in high school, that within that little generation, when they sat in them damn Zoom calls for class, they were not there. They just sat there like, I'm gonna just click the screen off and I'm gonna walk off. I like to have my guys in the film room where I can talk to them and they can see me up close physically.
Breathe in their faces, look in their eyes, make sure that nobody's sleeping, make sure everybody's paying attention.
So that's one thing that sticks out to me. Arnett, that's what some of the things Arnett needs to do. With Nate Hobbs, you heard during the all season when they had OTAs that a lot of the coaches were fascinated by him. He stuck out. He stuck out as somebody that I can be that diamond in the rough for you. I can get it done. I'm not afraid to get physical. I have good coverage skills. And then when you look at what he did back at Illinois, and I mean, you're playing in the system like from Lovie Smith. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
I know a lot of folks try to look for like, well, did he have like 20 interceptions or something? Look, if he got at least 5 or 6 within his career, I mean, I pay attention to that either way. Levin Lawson has had ups and downs where if he's looking good in camp right now, I mean, I'm going to give you a thumbs up. But when I see you doing the regular season, I'm biting my fingernails and then I'm rocking in a fetal position. It's just too many times I've seen Nevin Lawson have his struggles. I call him the poor man's DJ Hayden. But there have been times when he did slide to the slot. He was okay. Better than LaMarcus Joyner. But I'm not going to get too crazy in height. But, I mean, that's what you're looking at. And if I'm any of those younger guys right now, like a Mick Robertson, and I know I got on him about his height, just looking at an angry midget trying to make his way against a 6'1" slot receiver.
Charlie Green Giant.
All I can say is these young guys in camp, they got to step up. If you want to make a name for yourself, prove to everybody that you can get the job done, that you can come out there, you understand the playbook, you understand your assignment, and when you come out there preseason, you can everything that you did in camp, transition in the preseason. What you did in the preseason transitions in the regular season. We hear the same thing over and over. They look good on paper, but when you look good on paper and you don't transition onto the field, it doesn't mean a damn thing.
Don't complain about the defense. Say when everybody's talking about you got a top 5 offense, this offense has a chance to be elite. Don't complain about the defense.
Oh, the other thing we just forgot to just go on and like miss out of everything. Mark Bedane this week, he resigned. Dan Ventrelli is taking over. He was the executive vice president. He's going to take over as president. Now, I'm going to be real. The research I've done on this guy, he's the real deal, Phil. He's going to take this job. I know I heard folks trying to say they're going to try to get Amy. We need to get Amy transfer. We need to get Louis Riddick. They're going to keep Dan Ventrelli. It's his job to keep. The work he's done being the team's lawyer, he actually played a part in helping Mark Bedane out with getting the team to Vegas. He already has a major hand within Southern Nevada.
Major.
So when I tell you this guy needs to stay, he needs to stay. I'm not going to get into any other details on it. He knows football.
Man for the job.
He knows football. And I know John Gruden wants a guy that knows football within that organization.
No, he doesn't, Phil. You let other people say he just needs to be a lawyer, not a football guy.
Hey, you can be a football guy. You can be a lawyer guy. You can know the business. You can know the finances.
Yeah, you can know both.
Yeah.
And if you know both, you should be the team president.
And I wonder why he got appointed.
So because he's able to, well, we'll not say anything else because we like Dan Ventrelli, and I like to keep a positive relationship with Dan Ventrelli.
Mm-hmm. But congratulations to him on getting the job.
Long live Ventrelli.
Don't hurt me.
I don't want no trouble, boss.
Bro, I ain't gonna put it like this, boss. I ain't hit him with the boss. Coffee, boss.
I don't want no trouble. I don't want no trouble. We good.
Oh, man. But getting back to some of the camp battles, we still have a battle going on with this D-line. Everybody's like, well, I'm looking at this D-line. This D-line is not that great. I don't know if we can get anything out of Solomon Thomas. What about Darius Stills? Can he be the guy? Jonathan Hankin, I mean, is he going to be worth the while? There's so many question marks that you can think of. But the thing of it is, I look at what Solomon Thomas did back with the 49ers. Yes, he was not the best at the DN position, but when they moved him inside at D tackle, he created pressure. He was a major part of that pass rush. Jonathan Hankins, he's been decent. I mean, he's been able to take on some of the double teams. When I look at Darius Phelan, I look at what he did when he was with the Cardinals and the Chargers, but especially when he was under Gus Bradley. That guy was a menace. But the one guy that we're forgetting is Quentin Jefferson.
Best at beating best at beating.
You remember? I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off, brother. I'm sorry. You say what you gotta say, because I'm just hyped right now because I was doing some reading today, man, and I just found some stuff that I love, and I'm gonna just put in a new article.
Quentin Jefferson is the best at beating the opposing blocker. He does it quick. He does it with speed. He does it with power. He does it with technique. But the thing was that he wasn't getting a lot of run because he was stuck behind Isaiah Oliver in Buffalo. And getting him out, if he can continue to do what he was doing over there for us, should be a major get. And it should offer him an opportunity to have a coming out party. But we've heard this song before. We've seen this particular offseason where we pick up a bunch of guys who were high draft picks who showed a lot of physical ability, but for some reason it just never panned out. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I trust Bradley. I trust Miles. Their pedigrees are spotless. Their resume speaks for themselves. And so if they believe that these guys can give them something, then I believe it too. And they're going to be able to see at this training camp. We're going to see what they have to give. And it's going to be interesting because it's really going to be hard to assess, especially in training camp, when you listen to all the beat writers give reports on what they've seen in the scrimmage times and whatever it is that they get to see, because neither one of these lines are going to be proven. Neither one of these lines are going to offer us a real glimpse at what it is that we're looking at, probably until the second or third preseason game.
Give or take, I would definitely go under the second preseason game. And I'm going to say this right here. I don't think we're really giving the credit that Quentin Jefferson is getting. I think Jefferson, because mind you, you got to remember, he played a limited role. He played in that rotational role back at Buffalo. But when he was inside, he had 3 sacks playing at the D tackle position. Came in. Matter of fact, I got the pressures right here. He had in that limited role? He had about 9 pressures? That's pretty damn good. In a small role like that. Now, mind you, remember how many pressures that we were struggling to get from guys that were our starters? I think having him see more of a bigger role on that D line, and you know how John Gruden does his veterans, he'll probably be a guy that we see more of. And when he was with Seattle, he did a pretty good job playing the D tackle position as well. I mean, you're averaging about 3.5 sacks. I mean, yeah, we're not going to get like an Aaron Donald where he's just throwing guys left and right inside a D tackle. But the thing of it is, Quentin Jefferson's a guy that's going to get the job done. When we had Quentin Jefferson go up against Rodney Hudson last year, what happened?
Ate his ass up.
That he did. And Carr wanted no part of that. Carr tossed that ball away like Red's dad running away from Debo. No. My thing of it is this. We have guys out there on that D line that can do the job. You got a coach that can motivate you. You got a D line coach that knows the biz, he knows the stunts, and he can get you in the right position to succeed. Now, granted, for the exception of last year, that shit show, I don't come at Marinelli for that. Marinelli tried to make shit look like he basically turned shit into Tootsie Roll. Okay.
Well, what he did in the last 3 weeks of the season, coming with multiple injuries, was, I'm not going to call it amazing, but it offered a look at what could be, about the drastic difference and what having a competent defensive coordinator can do for players. The same guys who were giving up big time yards on the ground suddenly became very stingy in the run game. And I remember seeing Jonathan Hankins come around the corner on a clear path stunt to the quarterback and getting a sack. And I couldn't help but wonder, well, if he could do it like that, where's this been? Why isn't our defensive line being schemed to get free runs at the quarterback if it's possible to do it?
Not even that. I'm going to tell you another thing. I don't want my 330-pound lineman dropping back into coverage.
At no point ever.
I know a lot of folks are saying that this defense is not going to be great, but I beg to differ. I think this defense is going to do better than what people are thinking. Are they going to be top 10 this first year? I don't think so. Are they going to be within that top 15 realm, maybe like sitting at 15 or 16? I do believe that. I do believe that this defense can get better because you have somebody that can give them structure. You have somebody that can lead his men. I repeat that again, lead his men. That was something that we did not have with Paul Gunther. He was not a leader of men. And when you don't have a leader of men with a bunch of young guys, what do they tend to do, Phil?
Run wild.
They do their own thing. Now, I heard something good. I know a lot of folks have been hard on Jonathan Abram, but I heard something good today. Steve Atwater. Yes, former Broncos safety and Hall of Fame inductee. He had nothing but good things to say about Jonathan Abram. He likes that he's fearless. He loves that the tenacity he brings to his game. You know the one thing he just said? Get it under control. And that's been the one thing I've heard from not just former players, but I've heard from former coaches or some current coaches. Get your play under control and you can be great.
And it's not just other players that are other coaches and other personnel and all that other. We've said it before on this show is that physically he has every intangible, everything that you would want. He's just got to slow down and keep and pay attention and keep it between his ears and go and execute his responsibilities, do what he's asked to do, and make the plays he's supposed to instead of miss trying to do it all.
I see. And the other thing was this, we look at some of the stats. He racked in 3 interceptions last year?
Yeah.
So when I tell you he can get the job done, just make sure you got him in the right set. He just needs to listen, think, and he can execute. Now, the other thing we're hearing, this is going to be the worst O-line in the NFL. I'm going to be real. I don't believe that shit. Yeah, you got rid of Rodney Hudson, but with these guys going into training camp, these guys are all familiar with each other. Miller, Incognito. Yes, James is taking over at the center position. Yes, your center is basically your general at the line. And I know that there are a lot of things that you ask from your center. He's got to call out certain things, especially with the line adjustment. I believe Andre James can do that. For the past 2 years being under Rodney Hudson, I think he's been able to learn what he needs to do.
And if I may just add something to that real quick, Derek Carr hasn't gone anywhere. Derek Carr has every bit as much to do with calling out his protection scheme and pointing out potential blitzers to his offensive line to get them in the proper protection schemes as Andre James does. Yes, Andre James may be the captain, but he's not going to be alone out there. And Derek certainly isn't going to let him miss a blitz pickup if it means that he's got to take a shot that he doesn't have to take. Just from opening his mouth and saying something. So Andre James is not going to be just left out there on an island and expected to be a Pro Bowl level offensive line general right off the bat. He's going to continue to get coached up. He's going to get some real practical NFL experience real quick. And it's up to him to show that he's ready for the job that everybody else has appointed to him as to what it looks.
And not even that, he has a good support group around him. You got Tom Cable first off, damn straight, you got Tom Cable. Tom Cable. You see what Tom Cable has done for this O-line. Second, you got Richie Incognito right beside you. And from what I told you guys from last week, Richie came back and he looks like he's back in his 20s from what I'm hearing. Richie looks healthy. He looks fit. He looks better than what we saw last year. 10 times better than what we saw last year, matter of fact. And then, you also have Denzel Good. He's going to be playing the right guard position. And that's what gets me. He played either he was holding down left guard or he held down left guard majority of the season. So he's been on that line. He's familiar with what he needs to do. And he ended up holding down the right guard position. Gabe Jackson couldn't stay healthy. Rodney Hudson had his ups and downs where, age was starting to literally show. You have Alex Leatherwood. Yes, you have a rookie at the right tackle position, but the thing of it is, the word I'm getting is Alex Leatherwood is putting in the work. He's putting in the work nonstop. This man's one of the first guys to get to the facility. He's the last guy to leave the facility. This man's in the film room. He's working on his step. He's working in the weight room to get stronger. He's trying to get faster at that right tackle position. I mean, because you got to remember, you're flipping two sides. You're flipping your footwork. So you used to one stance. Now you got to do the opposite foot. And you have to get into that rhythm over, and you got to repeat it nonstop. And he comes from a winning pedigree from Alabama, and the way they were trained, you're going to work your ass off to make sure you get that job right. You're going to execute.
So just off of that, I'll throw a couple of interesting just what ifs. What if they actually switched their tackles back to their natural positions and you moved Leatherwood to the left and moved Colton Miller back to the right? Oh, it would seem to me that would be the smarter usage of your personnel, but that's just me.
So you basically talking like how I was talking when we first had got Trent Brown,
right? Like if he came in as a right tackle, which I'm talking about Colton Miller and Alex Leatherwood, both of them drafted at virtually the same spot within 2 draft picks of each other, 15 and 17. And you were to put your right tackle who is playing at left tackle at the right and your left tackle, you know what I mean? It gets confusing. But if you played them at the positions where they were drafted from, could you in fact have a better offensive line?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what would make more sense.
What I mean, like Derek Carr would feel so damn safe with Colton Miller being his right tackle. It wouldn't even be funny.
Look at the last comment. Tell me what you know about that. I pull it up, but you restricted my access.
Oh, I didn't know if I did that. I'm so sorry. Colton Miller has permanent right knee damage. Not sure moving him would work out. Now,
That's news to me.
and if that was the case, he wouldn't have got that contract. Raiders don't like paying certain players with bad knees. Just ask the guy that went to Chicago. So I'm just gonna say this. If I ain't hear it, it hasn't came out, I can't go off of that.
Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, but that wasn't a permanent knee injury. That was just a temporary thing.
Yeah, it's your MCL. Yeah, it's not. That wasn't permanent. That injury right there. How do I want to say this? That's not a real big. That injury right there is really not that big.
In the grand scheme of things,
because I'm gonna tell you this: year 2, it would have showed up.
Yes,
it would have showed up. Last year, it would have showed up. I'm gonna tell you this: if he had permanent knee damage, he wouldn't be doing the things that he was doing out on that field. So you got to give me some medical research that proves that.
Not saying that you're wrong, but I need to see it because everything that I've seen is proven contrary to that. But stepping away from that particular train of thought, my next train of thought was this, and as we all gearing up and thinking about pass protection, the Raiders have shown a massive recommitment to the run game with overhauling the offensive line, bringing in run blocking linemen, younger, more able-bodied, faster out of the stance, able to beat the defensive lineman at the point of attack, and a running back that ran for almost 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns with a completely separate team. So what this tells me is that you're going to see even more of a focus on the run game in order to try to help out that defense that may or may not be a quality defense, an elite level defense, and perhaps put them in more manageable situations or help make other teams more one-dimensional through running of the clock.
Phil. Josh Jacobs plus Kenyon Drake. You know what that spells, Phil?
Run.
Not just run. That calls that good old running duo that we have right now. That tells you the Raiders are looking to take ease off of Derek Carr. Kenyon Drake is going to be more you're going to see him line and get some reps at catching the ball out the backfield. Granted, I want to see Josh Jacobs get that as well. But this running back duo is going to be something that the Raiders were looking for the last 2 years. You couldn't get that going with Jacobs, Washington, and Richard. Last year, you tried to get that with damn, I say dude's name.
Booker.
You tried to get that with Booker, and it was looking like it was going to work. and it didn't work. This year,
I beg to differ. It actually did work. But
that's what I'm saying. It worked, but it didn't work for too long.
Well, then it became a line issue, and it didn't matter who was back there because the holes just weren't staying open long enough for anybody to get through them.
No, that's true. That is true.
Now, as good as Josh Jacobs is and as good as Kenyon Drake may be, neither one of them are Barry Sanders. And if they got to make their first move a yard or 2 yards in the backfield, the run is not going very far.
Now, here's another thing, and it's not just going to be a whole Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs show. You know how John Gruden loves his fullbacks, and John Gruden's going to get Alec Ingold more involved than what we saw last year. And I'm going to say this, and I know I tweeted it out. I know some folks were thinking I want him to get majority of the carries. No. I want him to get involved, but to a decent extent. So when I'm talking about I want Alec Ingold to get involved, 3 carries, 4 yards, that's not enough. I'm going to repeat this one more time. Alec Ingold had 3 carries, 4 yards. Why in God's name are we not getting this man more involved in the running game? Yeah, we got him for the blocking. We got him for pass catching. But my thing is this. Second and 2, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 4th and inches. Don't just do the fullback dive. Put him back there in a single back formation. Put him back there in the jumbo bunch.
Yeah, get Derek Carrier out there on a lead block. Make him do something and earn that money he's making.
Man, no, you know, as I recall, Derek Carrier being that fullback coming out the backfield, he was all right with the Rams doing that. He was all right with Washington doing that. But it's another guy like Phil. It's a guy like that a lot of people are not talking about. And I think he can make this team. You want to know his name?
You talking about Matt?
You gotta say that. You gotta say his name with some fire, boy. Come on.
Well, the other thing about that is I mentioned being lead blocking in a heavy set, and you you're bringing up a pass catcher whose liability is blocking.
I wouldn't say he's a liability in blocking. I think he's too robotic with his blocking. He knows the blocking steps. He just needs to get some flow into it.
That is if I had to say pick a knock on him, that's what I would say, that he's stiff, very stiff.
I mean, if we recall
the things he does,
if we recall, Darren Waller was not the best blocker at first.
I don't think he was that bad.
I mean,
he wasn't that bad.
Matt Bushman ain't that bad, but I mean, Matt Bushman got to get some rhythm. Yeah, got to get some flow in him. He got to be like, shuffle. Come on, you got to. It's all in your hips.
I would say the same thing about Waller still.
But my whole thing is this: I want to see if we're most likely going to end up keeping Derek Carrier. I think we're going to go with 4 tight ends probably. John loves his tight ends, bro. If he got some pass catching tight ends, damn it, he gonna have them. If they can block a little bit, yeah, he's gonna do it. He's gonna keep them. Shit, he might give the damn tight end the ball on a fullback dive. My thing is this. You know what? You're right. Have Carrier back there at fullback. have Alec Ingo slide in at a running back on a jumbo. I'm telling you this, Phil.
I wish that we could hit a rewind button so that we could rewind the last 2 minutes of him explaining how I was wrong, only to turn around and say, you know what? You were right the whole time. Continue.
But what you want me to say? Like,
no, it's all right. I've said enough.
You look, you know you want me to say. You want me to say, I was wrong. You was right.
It happens a lot.
All I can picture is when I say that, and then you look at it, you just smile like that damn Elmo meme. But having Alec Ingo back there in the backfield, handing him the ball a couple more times than what they did last year, I think that's going to also help getting him involved more, wearing down that D line. I'm going to tell you this. You saw how aggressive Alec Ingo was when he got the ball. He tried to run your ass over.
Or hurdle you.
He tried to hurt you.
Or hurdle you. Yes.
So my thing is this. Don't just use Josh Jacobs to wear down some of these linemen. Use your damn fullback. That's supposed to be your bruiser. That's supposed to be your enforcer. Use him.
If you could pull up the last comment, please. That would be the best possible scenario for this football team. With the amount of speed that they have at the wide receiver position between John Brown, Henry Ruggs, Willie Snead, Zay Jones, Brian Edwards isn't slow either. Hunter Renfro specializes in getting open in short areas. So if teams want to stack the box and attempt to come after them, they're either going to create a bunch of natural space on their own, or they're going to need to be very fast guys that are capable of winning foot races.
And I will agree. I like this right there. A healthy Moreau in the rotation. Yes.
Like where your head is at.
Now, my thing, having Foster Moreau, think about it, Phil. Just with these tight ends. Now, you know how we use Darren Waller? We'll line them out wide. You know what Foster Moreau can do? He can get out there too. Carrier as well. Matt Bushman as well.
Did you really say Carrier?
Have we not lined him out wide? You got to remember.
Why don't you just go ahead and run off his statistics from last year? Go ahead.
Hey.
1 catch, 11 yards, no touchdowns. I'm sorry, I was supposed to wait.
You hurt me. What I'm saying is this. John will go out in a gun formation and have 4 tight ends wide. You know it and I know it.
But with this group of tight ends, they actually have the speed and ability to pull it off.
And that's what I'm saying. Shit, it might be Carrier. You got to remember Carrier. Carrier came into the league as a wide receiver. Remember, we signed him. He was one of our undrafted free agents. Shit, when we had Reggie McKenzie in his first stint. That's way, way back, man. That's what, 2013? No, excuse me, 2012. So where I'm getting at is this. The tight ends are versatile. The tight ends have speed, as Phil Robinson has said. And this offense has they literally have enough pieces to be a top 5 group. And the reason why I'm getting at this part with talking about the offense being a top 5 group, I don't think they need Devontae Adams. Everybody's talking about, oh, let's go get Devontae Adams. As you heard today, contract talks have came to an end between him and the Packers, and You know, the first thing you see from Pro Football Focus and every Raider fan on Twitter and some on
Come
Facebook.
on through.
We need Davante Adams. Davante Adams right now. We need him. We got to get him out there. And, you know, he's a top 5 wide receiver. He's a top 5 wide receiver that want top 5 wide receiver money. And now, we ain't doing that.
He doesn't want top 5 receiver money. He wants to be number 1 in wide receiver money. He wants to top DeAndre Hopkins $27.5 million. Now, there's a couple schools of thought on this. And while Jones here thinks that you don't need him, I don't think you need him this year, especially not to trade. Definitely not to trade for him, because Green Bay is going to ask for a small fortune. Adams' contract is up this season. Next season, he will be a free agent. You'll be able to make an offer. You'll be able to bid for him. You currently have a quarterback who it appears that he is quite interested in playing with. Now, whether that remains to be true or not, Davante Adams is supposed to be Derek Carr's guy. Like you've heard him go to bat. Yeah, he loves this. He loves that. No, Davante Adams is his guy. Now, will they go? It remains to be seen on how it is the recruitment process will go, or even if Carr will still be here next year. But the way to approach this would be to wait out Green Bay, because even if he plays out this season, they don't get a deal done, and they franchise tag him as an exclusive rights franchise tag. You'd only have to give up a first and a third to trade for him, because that's the required trade package in order to get that exclusive rights free agent out from underneath Green Bay. So it would make more sense to wait till next year to try to get him than to try to do something this year.
Man, you know who could go for a receiver right now? Green Bay. You know a wide receiver that would have played for Green Bay right now?
Green Bay.
Calvin Johnson. So we always try to figure out what was the team that Calvin Johnson wanted to play for to finish off his career. He wanted to go to Green Bay.
Well, speaking of,
he would have got Aaron Rodgers back in the mix. Oh well.
Hold on. It's funny that you mentioned Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to see if I got this backed up just to see what I heard is correct.
Oh,
that's sports books. Never mind.
Well, about to be nonsense.
No, the sports book. It says the sports books expect Rodgers to announce his retirement next week.
We shall see. We shall see.
Well, when Vegas puts money on something, it's typically for a reason. But
well, you know, if someone knows closely, go on to Vegas and just go on and put, just play the spread, But, other than that, Phil, the Raiders have something good this year. Your wide receivers, yes, folks are saying they're not that great because you look at the up and downs they had last year. They're looking to get Ruggs more involved this year. They're looking to you got a healthy Brian Edwards. He's going to come in he's going to be one of your main guys. You got Hunter Renfrow. You got Willie Snead, who could come in and play in that slot. I'm going to be real. If I'm the Raiders, I look to give Derek Carr some more gun formations. Something that he was more accustomed to playing in back when he was at Fresno. And I know John Gruden can put something together with his playbooks. He has a giant ass playbook, and
particularly what he likes to do, he prefers the pro formation and lining up under center, so that you can offer, so you can disguise your plays and your looks. The one thing that I don't particularly care for with running extended gun formation is that it telegraphs your run game.
the only thing.
That's my only thing. This particular offensive line, and last year's was more of a power line. This one very well could be more of a zone blocking line. But in either case, I prefer that the running back be lined up directly behind the quarterback so that they're not tipping the direction of the play. Ultimately, the running game is about execution. It doesn't matter if the defense knows where it's going as long as the line executes its job and blocks their assignments.
I'm more, and look, I mean, I get it. I get it with the running game. I mean, yeah, you're going to be looking more with the zone blocking scheme. But you look at it, I'm just saying, basically with Derek Carr and the weapons that he has around him. Just saying, I think you might see that a little bit more. Now, yeah, like you said, with John Gruden, you know what he prefers. We all know what he tends to prefer. But that goes back to Kenyon Drake. So who's better suited to run in the gun, Kenyon Drake or Josh Jacobs? I'd say Kenyon Drake.
Who's better suited to come out of the backfield on a passing route in the gun formation, Josh Jacobs or Kenyon Drake?
Drake.
So what you're saying to me is that there's personnel in place to go either way, to be able to have every one of those options available to Derek Carr in the offense.
Yeah. Now, I will say this, going back to Alabama, Jacobs was, come to think about it, yeah, Jacobs did come out.
He was a third down back.
But he would come out of the gun formation and he would run the ball. But you know how they ran it? It was two running. They ran two backs. It was gun and two backs. So, I mean, we could see a little bit of that this year. That was something that we didn't see
at all.
Yeah.
At all. I maybe selected sparingly, maybe 5 to 10 plays, but I'd be hard pressed to remember them. That was something that they didn't do at all. They might have started with a wide receiver back there and then motioned him out of the back.
Yeah.
It wasn't two backs.
And the thing about it, now that I think about having Jacobs and Drake back there at the same time, you don't know who it's going to go to.
Sure don't.
And if I remember with Jacobs, if he didn't get the ball, he was a good lead blocker. Go back to one of the bowl games, or one of the, I think it was a national championship game. For a mean ass lead block, I think it was for was it for Najee Harris? I think it was for Najee Harris. That block was mean. So I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying right off the bat, the two of them in the backfield is going to be nice this year.
Stop giving away trade secrets and telling them all the offense before we even start a training camp. We got to keep that up.
Yeah, I ain't giving all the trade secrets. I ain't giving all that, man. Shit. I'm like, bro, man, I'm just here.
I'm just here.
I'm just here. I'm just saying, my mind, is just going, I'm seeing things play out I'm visualizing it, man. Visualize.
Set your mind free.
You got to open that third eye, that third football eye, brother. But no, I mean, other than that, that's pretty much about it. I don't want to give too much away. Training camp starts next week.
Big announcement next week.
We have a big announcement next week for you guys. The other thing is I will be on more frequently, or one of us will be. And, the show will probably be about 30 minutes. We'll give you guys updates of what's going on during the week. And then, when we have our Friday show, we're going to be on for about an hour or more. So, I like this. I like this, I'm going to read it for everybody to hear because, I got this going on Spotify right now. These reporters are saying that the Raiders have regressed and the organization is at the bottom or smoking out their asses. So I'll say this. I don't think this organization is regressed. I don't think this team has regressed. The problem is folks don't have the data or the information on certain players. So they usually come out and say, hey, I don't have this and that on anybody. So we're just going to go with, they're not that good. You have to understand that receiving core, who's one of your main targets out there? Darren Waller. So are you looking
at not one of the main targets?
He's one of your top 3 tight ends in the NFL. And some of the stuff you're hearing about them being dead last, this and this. I respect the folks that do the job, but I don't agree with what they put out. And PFF, I looked at that top 50 list and I was not impressed.
Their grade scale is something different.
Come to think about it, bro, they didn't even have Darren Waller on the list.
Their grading scale is something different. I know a lot of the people down there, got a lot of respect for the people down there, some of the people down there, but their grading scale is not one that I can really get with too much. But you have to understand one thing. The Raiders have had 6 winning seasons in 31 years. These are the headlines that write themselves when you don't win. And it's really that simple.
Yeah.
They got to win. They can't continue. They can't keep starting out on fire, beating playoff teams, lighting the world on fire, looking like this is the year that they're going to finally get it together, hit the mid-season, just after the mid-season mark, come out of the bye, and then completely shit all over themselves.
You're right. You're right on that. You can't go 8-8 and be smiling about that.
When you start,
you're going into what? You're going to be playing 17 games this year.
So there is no 500 anymore. There is no 8-8.
No.
You either win or you lose.
9-8 ain't cutting it. To be honest, 10-7 ain't cutting it.
That's
so the Raiders, and I will say this again, must win now.
Double digits.
Or heads will roll at the end of the year. Shit, I don't even think the end of the year. If they're not maintaining over 500 this year, you will see heads roll. You'll see heads rolling in the front office. You'll see heads rolling on
the field.
The field, yeah. I'm telling you guys that now. So
the second they start, if it's after maybe week 8, the second they start dipping under 500 is when you're going to see changes made. It's not going to be any waiting around, committing to guys and saying we're going to know. They have to win. Make no mistake. Not just for the league, not just for the fans, but to pay their bills and their overhead and continue to be able to generate a product that's going to be able to convince people to pay these exorbitant ticket prices. They have to win, because if they go to Vegas with a loser, they will become a loser.
Oh, man. You hit the nail on it right there. You hit the nail on it right there. And Phil, I mean, that's all I can really say. You have to win now. You can't keep saying the same thing that we've heard every all season. You know, we've gone through this, we've gone through that, but I just want to win. Okay, we all want to win. But you got to get the damn job done now, out on that field. I'm going to say this. The one thing that this defense needs, turnovers. And that's the one thing that they have struggled with over the past 3 years. Turnovers. Raiders need to get it, and they need to get it now this season. And I'm going to say one other thing is this. If you're going into week 1 and you get embarrassed on Monday Night Football, this is not even an overreaction anymore.
No.
Expect changes
in week 2.
That game.
In week 2.
Because you got 2 AFC North teams, and then that's the other thing. Over the week, I go over our team's opponents. I'll go over them. I'll split it up. And then I also give you guys the whole NFL win-loss record and who makes the playoffs. I will have that ready for you guys next week.
Should save that for the opening weekend.
Really?
If you're going to make season predictions, it would only be right to launch that right before the season starts.
I mean, I can make my preseason predictions.
Way too early. You're going to revise.
I mean, look.
6 weeks of revising before the final list comes out. Boy, I tell you, that sounds like McShay's draft board. Get out of here with that.
God, what are you doing, Todd? But I mean, hey, look, it's nothing wrong with having out a win-loss record list for your preseason to start off. There's nothing wrong with that. And then I have my 2021 quarterback ranking list on the website. You guys can go and check that out. Yes, I have Derek Carr. Not in the top 10. Not top 20. He's not. He's in the top 20, but we're in the top 20.
That's already a bogus list. I can't even listen to the rest of it. And this show now.
Whatever.
Gone too far.
No, I put it like this.
10. You're not in the top 5.
I put it like this.
Not even in the top half.
I put it like this.
Top 1.
I put it like this. I got him in a good area. Okay. I got him in a good area. It's not bad. It's not sexy, but it's good. Okay. He's a good quarterback. So I put him in a good quarterback.
You're not
area.
a real fan.
That hurts.
If you all want to see me burn Phil Jones, go ahead and give me a hands up in the comment section.
Oh, shut up. Look. You know what? Oh, whatever. Whatever. Get out of here with that nonsense.
Burn the crispiness right into you.
Oh. Look. Y'all can go on the website. Go on to UnPhiltered2.com. You guys can check my list out. It has all 37 quarterback rankings 3, 7. And I'm going to tell you this. Derek Carr is not 37th, okay? He's not even 20th. So he's better than 20. He's better than 18. He's better than 17, 16, and 15.
The real question is okay, so you just took my thunder. I was going to say, is he better than 15?
He's better than 15, all right? He's better than 15.
You still got him too low. PFF said he was number 7.
PFF be smoking crack. I tell you this, he's better than Baker Mayfield. He's better than Jared Goff.
How do you figure he's better than Baker Mayfield? Because I watched Baker Mayfield nearly beat the Chiefs in the AFC Conference Championship game.
Take that running game away from him. He ain't nothing. All right, then. You put some respect on Derek Carr's name, boy.
Yeah, damn it.
All right. Other than that, we're going to wrap the show up. I will also have the Hall of Fame presser for Calvin Johnson and Steve Atwater uploaded on our YouTube page. You guys can check that out. Check out my questions I asked them. Remember, subscribe to the Unfiltered Truth. We greatly appreciate you guys subscribing. It'll be a major help for us. As Twitter is basically, they've gotten rid of Periscope. Periscope is not working anymore. It tends to glitch up and down, and they're looking to get like a new live stream to run for Twitter. So we'll be waiting for that. But for right now, we're on our YouTube page. We're also on Facebook. If you missed the show today or missed part of it, I have the 2 episodes already uploaded. I got it split up in 2 parts on Spotify. So you guys can check that out on Spotify. You can check it out on iHeartRadio. You can check it out on iTunes, Google Play Podcasts. We're everywhere. You can Google us. Google Phil Jones. Google Phil Robinson III. We're everywhere now.
Everywhere.
Well, what Mark Davis needs. Star power.
The truth. The truth.
Other than that,
set you all free.
Like I said, other than that, you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Yeah, we need that. Look. Twitter, you heard it. You heard it, Twitter. We need the verification now. Not later.
Now.
Not 5 years, but now. Other than that, you guys enjoy the rest of your week, your evening. Have a nice cold beer. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe, you guys. We love you. You guys are the best.
And next week, we'll be talking actual football.
Football?
Football! Woo! Football!
Shit. All right now. I'm Jones. That's Robinson. This is the Unfiltered Truth. Y'all take care. God bless. Love you guys. Be safe.